Hey everybody, welcome to the Purpose People podcast. Today, I'm in the hot seat as my children are going to be asking me a whole load of questions around purpose, and hopefully we'll be able to answer them. So welcome.
Hi.
Darrell Irwin.
Hello.
So you have some questions for me, and the idea is I don't know what they are, and you're going to read them out, and then I'm going to answer them. So Bella,
I think I've written the deepest questions out of everyone, so...
let's
Good
start
luck.
deep then. Over to you.
Okay, so I wanted to start on a positive note. They're all positive, okay, they're all positive, but this one's the lightest one. So,
Okay.
what is your proudest moment that was a result of you living out your purpose?
Ooh, the proudest moment as a result of me living out purpose. I think that the proudest moment I have is that I have a family, and I've been married 24 years and I have 3 children, and we are tight as a family. We're homeschooling, we're doing life together. And for me, that's the proudest moment. So it's not necessarily a moment, it's a series of moments. And it's a series of brave decisions that we've taken. And I would say now, where we live now, is as a result of those brave decisions. And I'm really pleased that we made them. Does that sound good?
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I did kind of think you'd say that, but yeah.
Okay, so here we go.
Considering you did go the unconventional route in a lot of things, did you ever feel isolated? And if you did, how did you deal with that?
Yeah, I'd say that a lot of the decisions that we made, there are pockets of people that have made them, but not everybody has made them all together. So when we went down the homeschooling route, I had a friend called Mike Wilshire. I had a chat with him, and he'd brought his 3 children up that way. One's an actor, one's a vet. So there was no limitations. And when I had a good chat with him, he had said to me that they never regretted it. So when it came to taking you guys out to homeschool, it was like I've found somebody that had already done it and would said, hey, it's the best thing I've ever done. So that gave me the confidence. Starting my own business, being surrounded by entrepreneurs. I was part of a entrepreneurial hub that was full of loads of entrepreneurs, and then one of the mentors or the coaches became my business partner in Humans. So surrounding yourself with people on the same journey of you has always been a bit of a skill of mine, or seeking them, finding them out. So I think, yes, to my people that I was at school with and maybe went to college with, definitely not too many people I had in common, even when I played football with, but I've sought those people out. So now I don't feel so alone, that people are on the same journey as me. So I think you've just got to go and seek the right people and be brave enough to ask people questions.
And like surrounding your people, making a community of people that will uplift you in your decisions, and not just trying to fill your spaces with the conventional people just because they're easy.
Yeah, I think it's, the people that I got surrounded myself with are people on a similar journey to me.
Yeah.
They've grown their own businesses, they've taken risks, they've stepped up to leadership, they've not always won, they've had some setbacks, and it's just a case of being able to pull on them in terms of sharing life's journey with them. And I think for me, that's what's kept me going, because life isn't perfect, but it's making a series of brave decisions and sticking to them, and in doing so, life will be good, life will be bad, but the end goal or the end game, can you still fulfill it? And I think that's what's encouraged me by bringing those people into my life. I always use this example: you should have 5 people in your life. The fun is people that know, like, and trust you, so you can they write on your Facebook, Instagram, whatever. The second person you should have in your life is the forefinger, which is the pointing, someone that's done what you've done or built the way that you've built, but been really successful at it. So you've got someone to measure yourself against. You can ask questions. The third person is your longest finger. It's not to tell everyone to get lost, but your longest finger is someone with the greatest reach. And for anyone trying to build business or live life on purpose, you need a super connector, someone that constantly says, oh, I know you should talk to so-and-so. The fourth one is your ring finger, and for me that's my wife Claire, your mum. I couldn't do the journey without her, and that enables having a partner that believes in what we're doing. Again, it's not to say every day is perfect, but we're moving towards what we're trying to achieve together. And then the last one is your pinky, which is your finger closest to the floor. That when success comes, someone can always say, hey, don't forget why you started in the first place. And having those 5 people in your life, I think will help you stay the course.
Okay, good answer.
Yay, fast.
Okay, so you talk about being your family, and you talk about being an elder sibling a lot. Maybe not so much on the podcast, but I wanted to know, does being an elder sibling factor into what career you're in? And if so, how did it affect the decisions you made during your career?
Ooh. So I think as an older sibling, you do everything first. So you're the first one to go to college, you're the first one to get a job, you're the first one to earn money, you're the first one to do something unconventional, normally the firsts, like a career pivot or whatever. So I think that has allowed me to get used to just taking those brave decisions. You've got no one to compare them with.
Yeah.
So I wasn't waiting for my brothers to make decisions. I just made them anyway. I think what that can do is that they can challenge them, because they might be going down a particular conventional route, like a conventional career, whatever, and I seem to be making decisions that don't make sense in the short term, but in the long term they seem to play out. So being an elder sibling, I think having been almost forced to be the first, then it's easier to make those decisions, because I'm not worried too much about what my brothers think, or to some degree what my parents think. It's more that I think they backed me in the fact that I was making decisions that would ensure that we could live a life on our terms. And that sometimes was challenging for them in terms of, if I quit my job, it's like, well, where are you going to go? For them, they're caring to say, well, you need to get another job, which is natural, right? But I went on the journey of building my own company, which, in my immediate family, I don't think too many of the family had. They'd always worked for somebody else. So I didn't really have a direct comparison. But if you go back generations, we've got inventors in our family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we've got, I think, one relative invented the armoured car. One of them invented the smoke bomb suitcase.
What?
Yeah. So a very military base, but they invented that. I can't remember what else. There's quite a few things that have come out from an innovative perspective that I never thought about. And even the appetite for risk. Like my dad did the 8th most dangerous job in the world. Yeah. Which was basically helping planes land on aircraft carriers. And when the storms came and they had to put the planes, like hook them onto the side of the aircraft carriers, the boats going like this, it was my dad was out there trying to hook these planes down so they didn't go over the edge of the aircraft carrier. So there's definitely an aptitude for risk in our family. My dad's dad was a Spitfire pilot, and those people that read the book know the story. So there's definitely the risk I've inherited. But I think being the firstborn in the family, I was like carrying that tradition on to model it for the rest of you lot.
Thank you. Okay then, so what's one thing you wish you had done earlier in your career to better align your future self with your purpose?
Ooh. I think made purposeful decisions earlier. What I mean by that is, when I was younger, it was all about me, myself and I, getting the most money, winning the most awards, getting the most recognition at the quickest amount of time, which I managed to do. But I think there's a better way to build, and I think I was very much driven by myself and my own ambitions to get to where I wanted to get. But what I found out at the age of 27, I was in the position I wanted to be, but not necessarily doing the right thing. Yeah. So you can go hard, fast and furious in a direction, but it's not necessarily the right direction. So that led me to quitting the opportunity to go after something more meaningful. So if I'd asked the purposeful questions earlier, I may have come to the conclusion of starting something earlier as well. So I was 27 when I walked from the agency, but I could have made those decisions earlier. Listen, you've only got one life and you can only respond to the decisions you make. But I think, that's why I'm quite clear on young people like yourselves is go and experience those experiences, go and take those opportunities, and don't let conventional methods hold you back. So if university isn't part of the future, don't feel that you have to go there. Go and do what you need to do that you feel aligns with your goals, and rather than waste 4 years and end up in 60 grand's worth of debt. If you're going to do it, then do it. But if you're not, then don't. You know, it's having that flexibility and understanding that I'd rather you make purposeful decisions rather than conventional for the sake of being conventional.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take that on.
Yeah.
The big question is, are you happy?
Ooh, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy in the fact that the biggest joy that I have is being around you guys as a family. And we have a life that allows us to be together. I know some of you go on camps and holidays and whatever, but I'd say, yeah, I'm happy in the fact that we're achieving what we wanted to achieve. We might not be, we might not have millions of holidays and all that sort of stuff, and I'm sure that'll come, but I think the most important thing is we're tight as a family, and I think that's rare in today's world. And, and to keep that or to have that, I think people my age might be on their second or third marriage by now, and that sounds strange, but it's not untrue. The circles that I move in, and for me, it begins and ends with family. So yeah, I might succeed, but I don't want to succeed at the expense of family.
Okay, that's all my questions. But yeah, I hope they were okay.
Have you got anything else to say?
I think you've curated the life that you wanted on your own terms, and I think I admire that very much.
Oh,
So,
thanks, man.
yeah.
Awesome. Next up, we have someone that is nervous.
No, do it again, please, do it again. So.
Okay, so next up, we've got my son, Leon, and he's got some questions. Next up, we've got Leon, and Leon's got a bank of questions to ask me. So over to you, Leon.
Hello. I'll just start off with the beginning one. Most people normally ask you on the podcast, what is your end goal?
My end goal is to have 12 companies that are helping people live life on purpose, to build a legacy of businesses that are built around the aspect of impact and not just income only, and therefore can influence and impact people for positive things.
Cool. So say, for instance, you've got down to the end of the line, you're looking to retire, you've probably built these 12 entities. Who would you like to pass the torch to? And what would you like them to do with it?
Ooh. I think because there are 12 different entities, I mean, in that purpose or in that journey, there will be people that will emerge to like run those different entities. Ultimately, I'd like to see our family have some kind of stake and some kind of influence on it, if that's what they want to do. But I know, like, for example, yourself wanting to get into politics and things like that, that might not be the end game. So it's definitely not forced on you guys that you have to run Cre8ion or have to run digital or humans or any of those things. It's more the aspect of ensuring that those 12 businesses remain as part of a group and overseeing that. So that's kind of where I would see you, not necessarily running it, but certainly overseeing those ventures and making sure that they're reproducing in the way that we want to see them grow, build, and influence and impact.
You talk about impact, but what type of impact are you looking to put on people?
I think for me, humans best sums it up is being happier, healthier, smarter, and kinder. And I think if people are happier, they're invested in themselves, so they're smarter. They're healthier, as in they're looking after themselves. And ultimately, they become kinder. If you can get those 4 pillars right, you have a healthier society in terms of people are looking out for one another rather than trying to compete with one another. And that's why I'm really big on purpose, because what purpose does is it helps you discover why you're here and what your skills, talents, and abilities are for. And what that does is it stops you competing with other people. Because I think if you want to compete, he's laughing.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. So I'll go back to purpose. You might have to edit this. Yeah? If you know your purpose and if you know why you're here and you're doing it, it removes the need to compete with people and allows you to complete other people's visions. So people are in your life around the aspect of they might be there for a chapter, they might be there for a whole volume, but the bottom line is we collect people along the journey, and if we can help one another to get to where they need to get to, therefore then, you know, we'll all feel fulfilled and lose the need to say, if there are two graphic designers in the room going, oh, I want to be the best graphic designer, is to recognize that you could be an amazing graphic designer in the fashion industry and you could be an amazing graphic designer in the area of education, and that's fine. So there's room for people to work.
Yeah. You talk about fashion designing and multiple different ventures people go into because they know that's their cause, their drive, their purpose. But is there different types of purpose? Is there different drives people have, different things they know what to do? So you have multiple entities, but you know that you are led to go in multiple different sectors.
I think people go into life sometimes trying to prove people wrong. So they're trying to prove their mum and dad wrong, or they're trying to prove their brothers wrong, or their sisters wrong, or trying to prove their own identity or their own worth. And those things, in a sense, can drive people to a place, but not necessarily the right place. So where I look at it differently is to say, well, if you took time to understand your skills, your talents and abilities, and decide to maximize those, you're therefore now not driven by, to some degree, insecurity or trying to compete with other people. You're driven by making the best use of what you have in the years that you have on the earth. And I think for me, that's a much healthier life, because there's always someone with a bigger boat. So like you might buy this massive boat and it's, you know, worth 25 million, and then this big Russian oligarch comes by with a boat for 250 million. And if you're in the comparison game, you then beat yourself up because you never achieved it. But if you recognize that you have a purpose, you have a plan in your life, and you're playing this role in a generational legacy, you become satisfied with maximizing those skills, those abilities to make big changes. So like in my life, it was to help you guys not be conventional in the route that you're free to do what you need to do rather than what other people are telling you to do. So hence homeschooling was part of the equation. I don't believe if you've been at school, you would have come to the conclusion that politics was the route for you. You might have decided, oh, I need to be an accountant or whatever, you know, and there's nothing wrong in that, but you make decisions based on what everybody's telling you rather than going, what can I be? So you make decisions based on the circumstances rather than the conviction of what you feel that's going on in you personally.
Next one. You started off business. You left your old business. I've heard many have heard it before, but you left a company. You decided to start your new one. But when people are starting off, or the people that are starting off or are watching this, should they not expect to fail, but know that failure is going to come? Or should they just look at success and ignore the failure?
So fail fast. So if you do commit to the world of entrepreneurship, is that if something isn't working, then assess it, look at it, and then make a change. I think too often people keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, without being brave enough to make the decision, say that's not working anymore. And everything that you do as an entrepreneur and everything you build as a leader will change anyway. So it was the right thing for 5 years ago, but not the right thing now. It was probably the right thing to build an entire business 10 years ago around websites, for example. But the next 10 years, that might not be a smart thing to do because we might not be using websites. Yeah, we might be using the metaverse, for example, or we might be using, you know, the glasses that Meta have come up with where we're walking through an augmented reality. And so for me, it's understanding that whatever you do has a shelf life. You have a certain set of values that you can remain true to, but the way that you do life, the way that you build business will change. And in the process of change, whatever you started may well start to fail. And so you need to adjust. along the route. So I think failure is just part of the entrepreneurial journey, and it's not a personal thing. It's understanding that everything has a shelf life, and you're going to have to make adjustments. Look at AI, for example. AI's come out of nowhere, but the way we're doing AI now might not be the way we're doing AI in 5 years' time. At the moment, it's the golden ticket to solve everyone's problems, but in 5 years' time, it'll finally find its place among other things that we do. So it's a tool rather than the all.
You talked about AI. How would somebody in their business today, I know you're not an AI guru, but you do dabble in it in your businesses, how would somebody use that to profit their business instead of AI taking over their business?
I think AI is a brilliant research tool. So if you imagine a search engine where you're searching for something and then you find it, like Google, where AI works is certainly ChatGPT, for example. It's like having a conversation, and then you're bouncing ideas off people. So you can say, when I was doing a whole load of stuff for traffic, it was, what's the world's most congested city? And it would say, it's this. And I'd say, have you got any more cities in Europe? And it would tell me this. And I could just keep asking it questions, and it could keep answering me. And then I'd go, where is that? Can you show me the websites? Then I'd validate the authenticity of that stuff. And therefore, then I could compile a brand and a narrative and decks around accurate information. If I was just reading books or just searching Google on its own, it would have taken me ages. I know Google now have implemented AI into it. So that definitely helps. But I think that's where AI for me has helped the most, is research, getting a better picture and a deeper understanding of things, but still challenge it. Where do you get those sources of information from? Because the way the engines are driven at the moment is they are only as good as the data connected to it, and also they have to answer. So we've been joking with a few people recently where they're answering and they're saying, that's not true, is it? You've just answered it, and it'll come back and say, yes. So you have to be careful that sometimes just because it's written down doesn't mean it's right. Yeah. And you have to test and wait and measure what is there. And I think that for me helps utilize AI. AI is great for doing automated tasks. It helps in editing podcasts and shot selection. So it's coming in. Creatively, it has its challenges at the moment. It's getting better, like Sora. And I think for me, it's a case of, still look at it, still weigh it up, but still recognize that you have a set of principles. And, whatever you do using AI, it still needs to fit a principled flow. So if you're going to be creative, there still has to be ideation. Don't just take the first idea that comes out of AI, for example.
You talked about AI and AI telling you yes and AI telling you no. And if you tell it it's wrong, it's wrong. It's almost like telling you what you want to hear. There's so many sources of news out there. How do you know what to trust, and how do you know this is a viable source of information that I'm going to use and teach to other people? AI, news, other people who speak, like, is it Van Hoff, the guy who does the breathing? Wim Hof.
Yeah.
Wim Hof. He talks about the breathing and stuff, and it's scientifically right. But if a random bozo said that on the street, I might not, agree with him. But how would you suss out the truth from the false in today's world?
Well, I think the aspect of doing your own research and coming to your own conclusions is pretty good. Certainly having people around you that think very differently than you. Stop creating echo chambers, so where people just agree with you and they're just echoing and reflecting what you've actually said. But someone go, well, no, I'm not sure if that's right. And not to be threatened by that is to embrace that. So different perspectives. I think that if you look at AI, for example, there are different learning models that are in place. Some are very left-leaning, some are very right-leaning. If you look at some social networks, we know that it was very left and then it's come to be a bit more right. And it's just understanding that, you can follow many people and you can read many books, but you have to take this thing of saying, right, with all the information presented to me, I need to make certain judgments. And so based on those judgments, then I've got reason for why I make those decisions. And I think essentially we never stop being scientists. It's like your grandpa says, we're all scientists, and he's actually right. We're all trying to find our own way and try and make our own decisions. And our own decisions are based on testing and measuring and digesting. And I think the evidence of success as well is just to look at other people that have been living out the fullness of that. So if someone's been doing something in a particular area a certain way, like homeschooling, and you then go and research other people that have homeschooled, and you see that their kids are flourishing and flying, that's enough evidence for me to back that and go, yeah, I'm going to go with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then the last one, similar to Bella's hard-hitting one. If your life was a movie, what would people be screaming at the screen for you to do?
Ooh. Keep going.
Keep
Be
going.
the screaming. I think my life is, the more I go on, it seems more and more like Indiana Jones. Taking that treasure, going into the deepest, darkest areas of the jungle, finding the treasure and bringing it back, and then explaining it. And I think the way I use that as an example is I'm trying to find different ways of doing things that allow me, that send me into what seems to be rabbit holes, to then come out and go, it can be done. That's learning from the past. It's learning from people doing it in the present, and beginning to anticipate the future. And so for me, I'm almost like an archaeologist, looking at old ideas, seeing how they are relevant for today's ideas, and then ultimately implementing them in the present. So learning from the past, not trying to hide from it.
Well, thank you.
Thanks very much, Leon. Great.
Yeah.
Whoa, Taylor's got some good questions. Okay, and finally, I have the youngest, who's probably got the most difficult questions. Is that right, Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The first one is, your first job was at a car wash. How did you end up here?
Well, the first job wasn't at a car wash. The first job was knocking on people's doors to car wash. And I think what it taught me was that if you want to get anything in life, it's probably outside of your four walls that you live in, and that you've got to go and seize an opportunity. So the only way I could make money at the time was to take a bucket, get some washing up liquid and a sponge, and knock on someone's door, provide a service like washing their car, and people were willing to pay for it. And the more I did it, and the better I got at it, the more they would rebook me. So I ended up here because I'm effectively doing that. I'm not washing cars, but I'm helping them build websites or shoot videos or whatever. But I'm providing a service that they enjoy it and they like it so much they want to keep investing, because it's helping them get to where they need to get to.
What motivates you what to do?
Ooh, so what motivates me what to do is, as long as I hear people that have no direction in life, then that motivates me to say I can impact one more person. The world's full of people without any direction, and what I want to do is provide that for them. Obviously, I believe in God, so that helps me understand what my direction is, but not everybody does. So, you have those skills, talents, and abilities that are in you for such a time as the time that you're alive, and I want to help them utilize those to the max of their ability. Now, sometimes in the process of that, they realize where those gifts have come from, and other people just see those gifts and live a so much more fulfilled life because they feel that they're true to themselves. And as long as there's someone that wakes up in the morning and says, I feel lost, I believe I can help them. Good question.
What challenges did you face when you started?
When I first started, certainly Cre8ion within a charitable setup, the biggest challenge I had was the only person that knew how to do things was me. I had loads of young people around me that didn't know how to video edit and tell stories and design brochures. And the biggest challenge was teaching them how to do what I do and stop me doing it for them. So basically, rather than work with myself, I learned to work through others. And the biggest challenge there was stopping doing the things that I could naturally do well and recognize that being as a leader, your primary role is to educate. And when you can educate people in the skills that you have, then you can grow a team. And I think today, a lot of that team's still with us at Cre8ion. And I think that was the biggest challenge, is that to find people and give them an opportunity, and then essentially work with the results. So when they first start, it's not so good, and then they get better and better and better, and then to the point that they get better than you, which is great. And then in any business I've worked in, we've been down the same route. I have a working knowledge of how it works, but I'm surrounded by people that are better videographers, better coders, better speakers. That's how it works. My job really is to help them shine. And a real leader has the ability to do that.
Mm-hmm. You could have chosen anything, but you chose this path. Why?
Because I did go down a path and I got to the end of it. So I got success fairly early on. So at 27 years old, I was ready to own a creative agency in London with 4 other people. We were award winning. We were working with companies such as Levi's, Stella Artois, Orange, some big brands at the time, and I wasn't fulfilled. And I realized the reason why I wasn't fulfilled is I was doing the role well, but I wasn't doing it on purpose. And when I realized that I could use my skills, talents, abilities to help people rather than distract them, I think that's where I realized I needed to make some big changes. And so I did. And that's how I ended up where I am today.
What's the most important lesson you've learned on your journey?
Ooh, most important lesson. I think in entrepreneurship, you'd learn loads of lessons almost daily. I think for me, the biggest lesson is to have a partner, which is my wife, that believes in the same vision and the same thing as you. Because I think that's half the battle for most entrepreneurs. If you are not aligned, you won't stay the course. You'll give up. And one person in that relationship is going to feel unfulfilled. So the biggest lesson for me is always checking in with my other half, which is your mum. And yes, them days I'm not having such a good day and mum's having an incredible day, and vice versa. And what we've learned is along the route is to help each other along. And I think as we've got older, we've managed to be collectively, me and Claire, being able to help other people, like stepping out on that journey, and obviously not losing the family in the process, which is our priority.
I think that's it.
Have you got anything else to say, Tay?
Not really.
Not really?
No.
Okay. There you go. Done? You're done.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Purpose People podcast, check down below and click the subscribe. Oh my goodness. If you enjoyed this episode of the Purpose People podcast and want to see more content from us, check out our socials and subscribe down below.
Hi guys. You can check out, if you're interested, you can check out the Crisis Catalyst on Amazon or what's that? My dad's website. Okay. You can find out more about the Crisis Catalyst on Amazon or cre8ion.co.uk.
Okay. Thank you for listening in. See you next Monday.